Hello, it's Judith here with this week's video, which relates a bit to last week's video about people pleasing. And this time we're going to talk about the boundaries that you have set or allowed to be set with other people. And why is even knowing about these boundaries important and making sure they're properly set important? For a number of reasons. First and foremost, you are probably taking on too much because you never say no to anybody. So you are probably feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and beginning to be a bit resentful. Why do they always come to me? Why have I always got to be the one that helps in this family or in this group of friends? So overwhelm, stress, resentment. You will feel like you're being taken advantage of, and you will certainly not be prioritizing your own needs. Your own needs won't even come into it. You know, somebody will come to you and you've got a really busy day and you will say, yeah, of course I can pick the kids up, you know, no problem at all. And that makes your busy day an absolute frantic day where you get to the end of it and you're absolutely exhausted. And all of this can damage relationships because, as I say, at some point you will begin to resent the fact that you're being taken advantage of, even though you know you've allowed it to happen. And this can have a huge effect in a relationship because that resentment is there, even though you're not having the conversation about what's going on. And ultimately, you can get to burnout. You can get to the point where you just cannot do it anymore. I worked with somebody and she was the person that we all went to if we needed something doing, particularly at the last minute. So even if you weren't in her team, people would go to her and say, oh, can you just do this? Can you just do, yeah, of course I can. Yeah, I'll get it done by the end of the day. And one day somebody went to ask for a favour and she literally picked all the paperwork up off her desk, threw it up in the air and said, I can't do this anymore. Rushed out of the office in a flood of tears. So everybody has a breaking point. They're all in different places, but we all get there eventually. So what can you do about it? First of all, identify your limits. Identify where you want these boundaries to be. And the simplest way can be, what is it about that relationship that makes you feel uncomfortable? What is it about that relationship that drains your energy? Because these are the things that need to be outside the boundary, not inside where they currently are. And then you do have to, going back again to a previous video, you do have to have that difficult conversation. But probably worth looking into communication if you're worried about this. You need to use very direct language, but you need to be very calm and very respectful when you're expressing your needs. It's good to use the I statements, so it's not, oh, when you do this and you keep asking me to do that, it wears me out and it makes me feel exhausted and it's just not fair because you never do anything. You know, the sort of thing. Well, maybe it's just me. But if you say, I feel overwhelmed or stressed when, then nobody can argue with you. They may try, but they can't argue with you because those are your feelings. Then you're not saying that anybody's made it happen, but this is how I feel when this happens. Once you've had the conversation, determined your boundaries, you do have to stick to them. And it will be hard for you because it's become habitual to just say yes. So you need almost to, if somebody asks you to do something, take a deep breath, I would suggest, and just say, is this within my boundary or not? Or is it something I can easily do now or not? Is it going to make me stressed? So you give yourself time to make that decision and you're very consistent about what you will do and what you won't do. And that will reinforce them. Now, you will get pushback from some people, and with those people, you have to be even firmer. And as I've said in previous videos, sometimes maybe you just have to walk away because they're just not listening and they are not taking any note of your concerns, your needs. And basically, are they people you want in your life? Hard decision sometimes. Depends where they sit in your circle, but sometimes it has to be done. you need to prioritize self-care. So anything, and I think we all find this a bit difficult, and it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I say, hang on, if I stick that into today, what does that do with my day? Actually, it means I'm going to be working until 9 o'clock in the evening, or I'm not going to be able to do this. You know, I'm not going to be able to go shopping, so I'm going to have, I don't know, eggs on toast again because I haven't got any food in, or whatever. You know, you need to put yourself first. If there is something that you really should be doing for you today, then the answer's no. I bet if you're the sort of person I'm talking to, and we all do this to a certain extent, so that's everybody, I bet there are times when you have made an arrangement with somebody and it turns out to be not really convenient, but you will not go and say, look, I'm terribly sorry, but can I? You would just do what you've agreed to do. But if you made an appointment with yourself, if you said, oh, on Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to go for a nice long walk if the weather's good, and somebody comes along and says, can you on Tuesday do X, Y, Z? You know, you're the sort of person who would say yes before, but now you're going to say, no, actually, I'm sorry, I've got plans for this afternoon, I can't do that. So we tend to take ourselves out of our calendars to please other people or to help other people, but we will put ourselves at some discomfort to commit to do something that we've committed to when it is no longer a good idea for us. So put yourself to the top of the list, because when you're at the top of the list, you're the best person you can be when you're taking care of yourself. And as I've said over and over again, that means you're nice to be with for everybody around you. So yeah, watch out for those boundary pushers and maybe walk away from them. And if you're really, really struggling, get some help. Talk to friends or family members that you trust, or come talk to me or another therapist to help you with setting those boundaries and maintaining those boundaries and not feeling guilty about it, or not worrying that people won't like you anymore if you put those boundaries in place. Because guess what? If you're not feeling taken advantage of, and if you're not resenting, then you're going to be nicer in that relationship anyway. So it's to the benefit of the relationship. Okay, that's me done for today. And as always, if this is an issue that you are aware of or have become aware of by watching this video, please come and talk to me. And if I'm not the right person, go and find somebody else, but do something about it until you, to avoid you getting to that burnout point. Okay? And otherwise, I hope you have a really, really good week, and I will see you next week. Bye.